Ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Soul, back again for another episode of the Soul Sessions. With me today, she is the fighting siren, Shalonce Royale. Shalonce, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's been actually a very long day, but you know what? The siren, she just keeps going.
Yeah, very, very determined and always proactive as well, Shalonce. Well, to our viewers who are not familiar with yourself, tell us about what got you into wrestling. What was your passion and drive for it?
So I don't know. That's a long, weird story. So I didn't watch wrestling when I first grew up. When I first grew up, let me sorry. I didn't watch wrestling growing up, but I did see like a small clip. Um, I really don't I think it was my mom or dad was watching maybe Monday Night Raw or something, and I was really, really young and I caught it, and I just remember seeing the Divas belt, and I'm like, "Oh, I can do that." But then I forgot about it, and years later in high school, I owned, I think it was Raw versus SmackDown 2006, I believe, and I got that on PSP, and I had fun with it. I ended up getting on PS4, and I just like customizing and playing with the characters. And just years later, I ended up doing jujitsu and judo, which somehow led me to do backyard wrestling, which led me into pro wrestling. So that's the short version of the story.
Oh, hey, it's quite a story. Speaking about gaming as well, obviously SmackDown Raw '06 and the PSP is true a classic. Are those games close to your heart as well? The
Yeah,
SmackDown versus Raw series?
because that's my introduction to really understanding the inner machinations of wrestling, if that makes sense, because
Mhm.
you have like the whole move list to go through. If you're really caring about like building your character through story mode and figuring out who you want to be. And essentially, that's just like your pro wrestling journey. It starts out you, and then you have the ideal of of people you've seen before you. So you take different things until you make it your own. And
Mm.
so for me, that was the true, I guess, beginning for my passion for wrestling.
No, well, hey. I want to touch upon something as well. Obviously, something I was reading about going through your Instagram as well. You participated in the Dusty Rhodes American Dream Scholarship Camp. I want to talk about your experience there, which you would eventually, spoiler alert, you would win as well.
So that experience, so that happened so early on in my wrestling career. I think that happened in like year 2, I believe.
Oh, wow.
No, it was in my first year of wrestling, I believe. And QT and Glacier, my trainers. They were just like, what the heck? Like, participate. You never know what's going to happen. And above all, it's just full of experience because I'm early into my career and I get to talk and meet with people like Kevin Kelly and Tom Pritchard and Les Thatcher. And all three of them were the judges for the camp. And it was a 2-day camp. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll participate. I'll participate for fun because I was still brand new. There were people that participated that were wrestling for years. So clearly they weren't looking for the most experienced person, but they said they were looking for people who were teachable and who participated and just gave it their all because they're looking at the long run as well. And I believe that's what they saw in me. And it happened. I ended up winning. So I didn't expect to win at all. I personally thought it was going to be Anna Jay. She was a part of the camp as well.
Oh,
I
wow.
had no idea it was going to be me. In fact, I think Anna Jay and I were probably the most least experienced out of almost everyone there.
Like, it just shows it doesn't matter about experience, it's all about heart. And first year, a winner, great signs for success in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
But obviously, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, is one of the most popular promotions at the moment, and a lot of people like to insinuate the start of AEW with a little independent show, All In, that happened a long time ago. It feels like now, and many people were a part of it to begin with, Cody, Kenny. But what some people might know is that you were at All In as well. You sung the national anthem.
I did. I did.
What was that like? Getting that chance to like, hey, sing the national anthem at the beginning of an independent show that changed the business.
So I didn't understand the magnitude of that show until after, because
Mhm.
that also came early on in my wrestling career. That was shortly after I won the Dusty Rhodes American Dream Scholarship. So again, keep in mind, I didn't really watch wrestling growing up. As
Mhm.
I'm training and studying, I'm studying people and I'm trying to catch up, but I'm not one of those ones that will be able to recall the main event of WrestleMania 5. Like that I have to Google that, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Like, obviously, I've done my research over the years. But with that being said, there were a lot of people that was at all in that I didn't understand their significance until like I went off to the side and I Googled, or until I heard people tell me how big of a thing that really was. So I just knew that I was going to sing because that's my bread and butter. I went to school for music. I've traveled the world performing. But my bread and butter is really opera. And I didn't sing the national anthem operatically. I sang it just kind of like a little contemporary mix that I like to do.
Mhm.
And so I was nervous because when I'm really nervous, I like to default to opera because I just know I can do that. So there are a lot of people, which I'm used to performing in front of a lot of people live, but then there's a camera in my face that I forget that there are people at home that are also watching live. And then there was pyro that went off in the middle of the song, which I forgot was going to happen, which caused me to like shake a little bit and my voice ended up cracking. So needless to say, like the experience to be a part of something like that was amazing. But I kind of want to redo. Like I think that that wasn't my best performance, but just being a part of history like that was amazing. And I say that I would want to redo it, but if I had to redo that moment exactly like that, I wouldn't.
Well, hey, I'm sure AEW would happily have you back for maybe a Revolution or All In or All Out
Mm.
at some
That'd
point.
be
But
cool.
what was the backstage element like at All In after you performed the anthem? Did anyone come up to you and be like, "Hey, congratulations, you've done well," or was it just like sort of calm environment?
Yeah, they loved it. People like they were waiting in gorilla, we call it the gorilla position, which is like backstage before you go up on to the ramp to go to the stage or to the ring. See that performer in me?
Performer mindset.
Yeah. Um, but they were really nice and they really made me feel good about it. They really made me feel like they appreciated it, and it felt great because it felt like I just gave a good start to the show, and it made
Mhm.
me really feel a part of it. And so I they were just amazing.
No, that's great to see. Obviously, you would have your debut in AEW when it fully formed at 2019's All Out. Talk about that
Mhm.
match, your first match within this big promotion.
All you mean like the battle royale or the dark
Yeah,
match?
the Battle Royale, aye.
Ooh, now that was my first time ever being in a battle royale. So yeah. And at that time, I finally registered what was going on, but it didn't register that now I was in the ring.
Mhm.
For so long, I'm on the sidelines or training and doing things like that. But now I'm in the ring with legends and people who are established on the indie scene as well as on just the pro wrestling scene in general. And then there's little old me, the Dusty Rose American Dream Scholar. And I felt intimidated, but I felt excited. Um, I hate that I got eliminated so soon, but
Mhm.
it was a great experience because there were people that talked to me to kind of show me the ropes, which is very important for people who are really new in the business. And they just took me in and helped me, like Nyla gave me great advice. Big Swole gave me great advice. Shaza was just so sweet. Like Shaza, you know, opened up to me as well as gave me some advice. I believe Awesome Kong did as well. Jazz, just some wonderful people. So I love the experience, even though I was very quickly eliminated.
Oh, hey, well, you would come back for AEW as well. Actually, I saw you wrestle Emi Sakura in that iconic match, which everyone has great interactions with.
Oh,
Talk about
lot of
that.
years later, a lot of years later. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
a
because
lot of years
I
later, that match is everyone's just memeing it and loving having fun with it. Talk about that, going against Emmy.
so that was the first time that I went against a Japanese girl or
Mhm.
woman. And I was really nervous because while I have experience, I feel like, and this is just my feeling, other people may disagree because a lot of people think that I'm ready for a lot more than, I feel that I am. But I didn't know if I was ready.
Hmm.
And I felt extremely intimidated. But Emmy was nice and sweet, and she's like, let's have fun. And we went out there and we had fun. We gave people something to talk about. There's a lot of debate out there whether or not it was wrestling or whether that should even be something that was featured. And like, first of all, it's AEW Dark. Second of all, there are plenty of wrestlers on the roster as well as the Dark and Elevation, Dynamite, Rampage. There's enough wrestlers on their shows that are going to give you wrestling.
Hmm.
People forget that wrestling is also sports entertainment. And I think we definitely entertained and people are still talking about it. So
Exactly, it's done its job, and everyone's happy with it and having fun with it. We spoke to multiple people before that have been in AEW: Kid Bandit, Blanco Loco, Axel
Mhm.
Rose, and they've talked about the backstage environment at an AEW Dark taping. That usually you turn up and you're not knowing who you're going to be in a match with, and it's all sort of on the fly. Is that the same as well for the women division as well behind those shows?
Well, it's 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 changed over the years because my first experience there is different than my recent experiences there. So yes, that is how it is recent. For most AW Dark tapings, you all arrive and you're just waiting to find out who you're going to face. And
Hmm.
then hopefully you're booked to face somebody.
Well, hey, that's it. You got to hope you get shown TV time and shown to everybody, and they can learn you, and then find more about you. Something I've always wondered about the AEW team as well. A lot of people get like professional photos taken as well of them and like opportunities. Do they provide a lot for you as talent? Like training experiences, media stuff as well, or just extra classes and stuff?
So are you asking, do they provide all that?
Yeah.
Yes and no. So it how do I explain it? When you first go there, you get now, because it wasn't like that when I first started.
Okay.
Um, but now I do think they do really well with setting you up with the package. They get you professional photos, you get the whole experience, like the backstage and everything, but they don't provide training unless you excuse me, sorry. They don't provide training unless you're going in the ring to work on your match.
Okay.
Um, so that's on you with your training. But when I first started, there were training sessions for the women in the middle of the day before the show started.
Hmm.
So I did get that in. I got to train with Dustin, and at the time, Awesome Kong when she was there. But when I first started, we didn't we got our pictures taken for the cards, but we didn't
Hmm.
get them personally sent to us. So I technically don't have those photos that everyone else has, and it kind of makes me upset, but it is what it is. But they don't like to do repeats.
Hmm.
So they're still using my photo from almost 3 years ago.
Wow, that's quite something. Let's divert a wee bit to hey, yeah, let's divert a wee bit from wrestling and talk about your amazing voice. It is an amazing voice, I got to say, and obviously you do moves with it as well in the ring. What kind of like voice exercises do you have to do before you go out there?
Sometimes I don't do any.
Oh wow.
Sometimes I just go out there and I warm up for that because most of the time I'm wrestling in the evening time, and vocalists out there, they know, like, usually when you have to warm up your vocals, it's usually in the morning, or if you woke up from a nap, like if I had really taken that nap, then I would need to do something. But you're talking all day long. You just got
Mhm.
to go out there and implement it. So a lot of times I just go and wrestle. But to be fair, I kind of sing throughout the day anyway.
Oh wow.
So I'm always singing.
Oh, hey, it's always good to see. Speaking about your music career, I know you do your own music and stuff as well, which I've seen spotted. Is there was particular one that you hold close to your chest and like, yeah, this is a personal favorite of mine?
Is that my voice?
Hmm.
What do you mean?
Like, is there a personal song that you like to sing with your opera style voice?
Hmm. I have a few arias that stick close to my heart because they
Hmm.
were like my first ones that I sang when I first started in this vocal journey. And that's Nel Corpio non mi sento, which is an Italian aria by Paisiello or Giovanni Paisiello. I believe so. It's been a while. And so sometimes I'll put different words, but I'll usually use that melody, or I'm usually singing that. And another aria is Voi che sapete. Um, those two I think will always be with me, and no matter where I am, what I'm doing. No, yeah, I know have to redo that. It is Nel corpo non mi sento and Stizzoso mio stizzoso. Those are the two songs. No matter where I am, like if I had to sing them, I'll definitely sing those songs.
With opera, it's such a vast style that there's so many lists. It's hard to go through them all. Quite on the spot question as well. I'm going to rip open some fresh wounds for you. You were the IWA first Belladonna Division champion, which you
Mhm.
recently just lost. I was just
No.
wondering, you're driven to get that belt back?
Oh, of course. Shalonce started this, so Shalonce should always have belts. So of course I'm going to get it.
Well, hey, that's a good thing. Talk about winning that Belladonna championship and what did it mean to you? You know, holding that belt in your hand and thinking, "Yes, I've done it."
Well, so you want the shoe answer or kayfabe?
Surprised me.
Okay. Well, the thing is, I wanted the Forbidden Elegance Championship, which
Okay.
is awarded to formerly held by Cassandra Golden, because she also lost hers too. And that's the one that I wanted because that is the Belladonna belt. I technically, if the best way to explain it,
Mhm.
it's almost like I was just the IWA Women's Championship. The thing is, IWA doesn't have really a women's division. The Belladonna runs out of the IWA
Oh,
Championship,
okay.
if that makes sense. So that's where I was. I won that against Cassandra.
Hmm.
So people feel that that title isn't as good as the Forbidden Elegance Belladonna title. And so I hate that. I hate that.
Mm.
So I wanted to bring honor to the IWA championship belt. And I feel like I was the best one to do so. So therefore, I busted my butt and did whatever I needed to do to get it. And also to prove that I can also have the forbidden elegance. But now I have to try to take it from Kylan because she took it from Cassandra because Cassandra couldn't keep it to herself either.
Well, hey, we can maybe see Shalonce Royale, the belt collector, soon enough.
Soon enough.
Yeah. There are many women divisions out there in the world. Stardom in Japan, WWE's got their own thing there. AEW and Ring of Honor, which has been acquired by Tony Khan. Is there a particular women's roster that stands out to you? Like, yeah, I can go against these women and have absolute magic in the ring.
I think anywhere that Shalonce goes, there will be magic in the ring. I am always ready. I'm always being prepared. I mean, even now, from working out, like I'm always ready. So and I don't mind getting down and dirty with them. I can be as pretty and prissy with them. I can go overseas and do it. Shalonce's ready.
It's like Matt Cardona, always ready, eh?
Always ready. Yes.
Well, Shalonce, it's been great having you here. And before we wrap up, I just want to know, what is the rest of 2022 looking like for you? What's the plan?
Oh, it's so hard to believe that it's 2022. So this year, I don't know. Just a lot of wrestling. So I am going to get the IWA championship back or the Forbidding Elegance, whichever one. I'm going to go after every belt that I can. I also am going after the Cannabis Cup. Next week,
Oh,
I got invited to wrestle at the Cannabis Festival that's headlined by Wiz Khalifa. So I am going to I don't know all the contestants. I think one of them is Teal Piper. That's at least what I'm hearing. So I'm not sure, but that's just something else I can win to add to my resume. But hopefully you'll see me again on AEW Dark, maybe Elevation. I don't know. I'm gonna try to go for it all. Hopefully see me return back to OVW. Also, just shaking up the Belladonna division. I mean, I don't think I'm going anywhere. But my ultimate goal is to just get out there and get seen. And who knows? Like, I'm hoping to pick up a contract from somewhere. So You just never know. But the things I'm gonna keep working. I don't know if you can
Mm.
see my. I'm like, it's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there. I'm gonna keep working
It's very
and
impressive.
keep pressing. I'll just keep pressing on.
Let's just say someone was able to give you a contract. Is there any particular company you want to sign with, or is any contract you'll take?
It just depends on the stipulations. Like
That's fair.
so. I obviously want to go to either AEW or WWE because before when I started, AEW wasn't a thing.
Mhm.
So of course our goals were WWE, maybe Impact, NWA rose out. So there's that. Um but honestly, I just want to wrestle and I want to work. So if it doesn't matter whether it's Ring of Honor, Impact, NWA, even though technically Ring of Honor is now owned by Tony. So I don't know how that's going to work out. Um, Heck, even WoW, Stardom. Well, I know that's not like a contract per se, but in other words, I don't mind where I work. But
Uh-huh.
when it comes to having a contract, I want to be somewhere where I'm appreciated and I'm given the opportunities to show what I have to offer. So wherever that is, I want to be.
Well, I'm sure the world will be ready for Shalonce Royale, and she can take it all on. Well, Shalonce, it's been great having you here. As it is, I'm Sol, and I always like to say to the viewers, be kind to one another and have a good day. All the best, everybody.